Hey everybody, John Foster, Boxing Corner, Pathway to Glory, Boxing. We got a great interview today. Rick Bobigian. Did I say it right? You said it right. I said it good. All right. Well, the guys that didn't get it right and wanted on the Bob, they had a problem, huh? So that's how you got involved in boxing. You want to talk about that one? How you got started in this? How old were you at the time?
Well, when I was getting beat up in the schoolyard, I was just taught, 7, 8, 9, 10.
7, 8, 9, 10, under 10 years old. Wow.
And then at 16, I met a guy named Tucker Gorman, and Tucker was a boxing coach.
Right.
And he had a stable of one other guy, 2 other guys at that particular time, and he was from the next town over, Brockton, Massachusetts. And he saw me one day and asked me if I would like to fight. And so I said, I'm going to Harvard, but this way.
Right.
He sent 2 of his boxing students to beat me up one day.
Really?
Because I was dating a girl whose Tucker's brother wanted to date. And so I came out of her house one Sunday walking down to walk home, and 2 guys hung up for me and approached me and told me not to see this girl when you came. And I go, you're not going to tell me what to do. And so the next thing you know, we're in fight.
How old were you then?
So I'm about 16. Did I see? Okay, yeah. And they tried to DP up, and I did a pretty decent job with them. So that's when Tucker came over and introduced himself. He said, hey, these are 2 of my boys. They were trying to scare you off.
Yeah.
But I like what you did.
But he had this on too.
They were too well. They were trying to scare.
I've been in martial arts classes. There's been 8 people outside. I go, Jim, go outside and tell me to go away.
So that's how I got started. That's how I met Tucker.
All right.
And then I stayed with Tucker for about 2 years until I graduated from high school.
So you had some potential. So let me ask you, did your dad box or do anything? How did you become tough and be able to fight?
Or you being picked on as a kid. Oh, I had fighting back, not in a tip. Right. But my father did teach us boxing in the home. I have 2 other brothers, and we would get downstairs in the cellar.
And you had a heavy lag.
Well, he would show us what to do.
That's about it. Yeah, that's what I'd pick on my brother, and I have to go hit the heavy bag, so I had prior skills. Yeah. Man, that's interesting. So when did you start officially, like you started training, and did you love it? Is it something that you like? I mean.
Yeah, I was like it. I like having the knowledge.
Yes.
The knowledge of how to defend yourself.
Right.
And what to do, and not to get the fight or flight, everything. You either fight, you run away. I didn't want to be one of the guys that ran away. And so to stay tough, you had to have some skills.
Right.
I felt like you had to have knowledge. In fact, that has been one of the guiding lights in my life is, if I don't have the knowledge, go get it. Whatever it is.
Have you ever mixed any martial arts with that?
No.
Boxing, when they rate it with all the martial arts and everything in the street, it's probably your best self-defense, if you really know what you're doing.
So it's confidence.
Yes.
It's having the confidence to stand your ground.
Right.
That's really the answer.
Now, how many times, when you started boxing, you probably walked away from a lot of fights. Did it stop you, or did people always test you?
No, I had an interesting situation. My older brother was taller and skinnier than I was, and he was picked on by the older kids. And he finally asked my parents one Christmas, could he get Joe Weider's weightlifting set? And anybody who's ever looked at comic books, on the back of the comic books, there was always an advertisement by Joe Weider, and it always showed a kid laying in the sand at the beach and some bully coming by, some muscle-bound guy coming by the sand. And Joe Weider said, if you don't want to be that guy getting sand kicked in your face, he might program. So he got a set of 125 pounds, and that ended up being his confidence. He started lifting weights, blowing his body, and getting confidence. So once he did that, then that gave him the confidence to push back.
Right.
And so when the kids came up and picked on him, he pushed back. And then it became an ongoing process. He probably had 15 plus fights as a kid.
Is in the street?
In the street.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. What year are we looking at?
We're looking at, I got out of high school in 1966, so that would have been 64 to 62nd, maybe.
Did you go in the Army or anything?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. What?
So I went to college, and after I graduated from high school, and then I failed at college. So we called it flunking out. So I flunked out, and then I got drafted. I went into the Army, and I went in June of 1968. And then my whole life changed after that, and my whole focus, my whole initiative. Because what the military does, it allows you to see being fit. When you just in high school or it's a larger small town, all your comparisons are just to people kept.
Right.
But when you go in the military, you get into a training sort, you have hundreds and hundreds all your age within the 4 or 5 years.
And you were above average in that.
In margin. Right. And then I ended up realizing I like to compete.
Yep. What you can compete in the Army too, right?
I liked competing at the boxing. I like play football in high school, did those kind of things. But once I get in the Army, it showed you that, okay, you're not too bad. And I started to change my whole habits.
Right. We're downtown at Houston, downtown boxing gym, and I'm talking to Rick Bobigian. And Rick is 41 years old.
All right, 76.
76. Told me he was 71, 76. He said, and wait, now, do you say that when I used to box and you get in the ring and I've had and you get hit with that first punch and I would just go, like somebody hit you with a dash. You got to get through that first blow. And it's like, you're not really hurt. And then you get over it. Now, you must have liked that first blow. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I did it because, like you said, fighting in the streets, I had to or I was going to get beat up. So basically the same thing.
Yeah, except that in here, everything is just, so you have to behave, you have rules.
Right.
You can't lose your temper, you can't brawl, you can't do any of that stuff. You have to box, and you have to try to improve your boxing skills.
Right.
So I came to the gym about 2008.
Right.
And I had my first amateur fight in March in 2007.
So there was a break in between. Well, the Army obviously took years off. And it.
Oh, yeah. I went to war, got a family.
How many kids?
I had just
one kid. Broken your nose once fighting, so you talked out.
Did a little thing. Man, I have a scratch this morning.
Yeah. Oh, you were sparring this one? My goodness. How many rounds did you spar?
10.
10 rounds. You sparred 10 rounds? That's crazy. That's being in shape. 3-minute round.
2 minutes.
Okay. Still, that anybody knows anything about boxing, you got to be in really good shape to do that. Okay.
Well, that's the whole idea.
Yeah.
You be in shape, and then the incentive is staying in shape. Once you're in shape, how do you stay in shape? And by competing, you have that tool it forms you all the time.
Yeah.
So my normal program is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Monday, Wednesday, well, first of all, we go to Friday today.
Right.
We spar.
Right.
So I did 10 rounds. On Monday, we'll work on the things that I need to improve from today. We'll add some things, work on some things. It is mainly skill sets, combination, focus, stepping back, stepping sideways, working, rooting ahead, all the different stuff, staying in balance. What's your stop? I'm a boxer.
You're gonna box. You can swing and you can stand back and you can move.
You want to beat me?
Right.
He was one rush me. Okay, that's this.
Right. Because then you make a mistake.
Well, that and then they become. Boxing is about scoring. Once you bops an amateurs,
right.
You have officials raise your pit. So we have they have a decision, and the guy coming forward all the time generally gets the decision, unless it's a hobbyist that the other guy is best. He's picking them off.
Yeah.
I can hump forward and be the best.
Right.
Not what I want to do.
What's your best shot?
My jab.
Had you knocked people out?
No. Would I stop?
You've stopped people where they stop the fight.
Yeah. In amateur boxing, the referees, no boxing referees responsible for protecting the fighters.
Right. Especially in the masters. I mean, in boxing, even if you're not fighting, I mean, you were doing this years before you decided to start taking on fights.
The goals are simple. Let's go to a tournament, see how it is. Look. Okay, so we went to the first tournament. I came away going, okay, I love this. It's nice to be back. It's nice to have a competition. So then it was just a matter of signing up for additional tournaments and just doing these things. So then once I got into we have 2 classes, novices, 10 fights or less, open is 10 fights or more. So once I became moto, then I could have as many fights as I wanted to. And so I started going, so then my goal became to have 20 fights.
Now it's 30.
Yeah, so I've now had 26 or bunch of fights as a master.
So then you don't have any problems, but I've been around the gym when I work with Angelo and guys that come in, and Angelo didn't want him to fight any. One guy, he'd been on the most fights on ESPN, and it's like, don't, this guy, because he's talking funny. I mean, your everything is clear and it's good. You worry about that at all?
No,
No.
because it's defense. Okay, yeah, if you have good defense, you're not going to be hit as much. You might have a hit on your gloves. There, you might get caught now and then. Yeah. But generally speaking, if you have good footwork, good balance, and good defense.
Have you ever been knocked out?
Knocked down, yes, one time.
Knocked out.
Right here in this gym.
Oh, really?
Tournament us up.
Tournament?
Yeah, 2 years ago, a guy just hit me on the side of the head.
Yeah. Left hook or right hook?
It wasn't hurt me, slapped me basically.
Oh, really?
And next thing you know, I'm on the floor. Yeah, but damn, I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
So then I got up and I was mine and I won the fight.
And you won the
with just that flag. It's called a flash guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't even know what's happened. But that second.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never been knocked out, and then no. Thank God. I mean,
Well, no, it's one thing.
Yeah, no.
And nor do I want to knock in.
And I wasn't one that really worked on my defense, man. I was coming.
Well, so you're one of those guys that come.
Well.
Okay, and the way you be a guy that comes all the time, which you hope to hold your ground. Let him protect yourself and then fire.
And I did it when I was a kid, so I wasn't really. I mean, I had great coaches, so I threw good stuff, and I kept my balance real good. But yeah, 80 pounds, I started. How many pounds were you when you started fighting?
Well, in the 16, it was 160 then.
160, okay. And you did that for a long time, and now you're ready. This guy is in shape, Rare. I'm looking at him. I mean, he is muscle. Well, show some kind of muscle. Put your arm up there. I mean, this guy is ripped, and you don't lift, and you don't lift weights.
It's all calisthenics.
I wouldn't mess with him. Have you ever had anybody test you? Have you ever had to get somebody in the street that bothered or whatever, weren't being right, say, sit down or protect somebody?
Okay, so I don't get involved in street fights.
Right.
But I just back away. I got plenty of fighting in.
Boxers don't look for fights.
No.
It's all done in here.
Yes.
So yeah, but if it was done out there, it ain't gonna work out too well for somebody unless they have real experience.
Well, everybody watches all the MMA.
Yeah.
And they all know to go for the legs.
Right.
So if you're in a street fight, the first 6 up he's going to do is go for you.
They're probably gonna probably goes to the ground, and then the be a boxer, you got to really know. Do you have wrestling skills?
I wrestled when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But my view is I can walk away from the confrontation.
Yeah. I'm the same way, and I've been in a lot of places, in times where I intended to lay my hands on somebody, and I didn't do it. And times where I could have, but I knew what I would have done.
Then there's always a mess out.
When you box, and you've done it a lot longer than me, can you go off a person's feet? They used to talk about Muhammad Ali. He knew you're in range, you're not in range just by the toe distance. And you watch somebody's feet.
All the time. Yep. Because you can't punch you without losing your foot.
Right.
And so first thing that moves is their feet. Everybody has a habit. They'll take a half step, or a shooter, stutter step, or something, but they're going to step before they punch. And I even tell some of the pros in here, I'm watching with feet, so I know exactly what you're going to do before you do it.
Who did you spar with today? How old was that guy you sparred with today?
Miguel Flores, and I don't know how. Hey, Rocky, how old is Miguel? Miguel Flores, you
I think he's 31.
31, okay. Yeah, thank you. So Miguel's 31.
And he's 56.
No.
76. Oh, man. I wouldn't mess with him. I'm telling you that.
Well, come on down to it, George. Look at them. We'll fix it up. You'll be under supervision.
All right. Every time I went in there and I sparred, the guys are trying to kill me.
Okay, that's not spars.
Yeah.
That's brawling. That's fighting.
They bring in a guy, 25 years old, I'm 15. 25 years old, won the National Golden Gloves, 125, I'm 110. I go 3 rounds with him. He was trying to hurt me. It's a man hitting you, but I mean, I was 15. They were like, Mr. Bosser, we got to talk to you.
Well, and a lot of people do not know how to hold back, not go 100%. And so, but what happens with someone that goes 100%, they run out of gas, they lose their breath, they get fatigued. All you have to do is just wait.
It's true.
And you stay back out of range.
Out of the ramp.
And then a lot of moves, like a bull in a matador, if the guy is charging real hard, you just step out of the way.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You counter pretty good too. Yeah. But you said your jab was your thing. You ever? When I took my jab out, I push it right through the middle. You put it out there, just putting it out there, or do you
Snap it.
You snap it.
If you throw a half-ass jab, then you can get hit in the face. Right by the other.
Do you ever catch gloves? Like when they go to throw, you jam them?
Yeah, I'll catch their jab with my right.
Right.
Well, at the same time, But I can see them coming because that foot, their lead foot, they're orthodox. Their left foot was already stepping, so I had my hand here, a texture jab, and my hand's here, and I just did.
And you're a righty, yeah.
I'll call it orthodox.
Orthodox, yeah. Can you go lefty at all?
No. I've tried it a few times. Yeah, pretty ugly.
Yes, it's very big. Yeah. The right lead's not your favorite set. Yeah, but that's jab. Huh?
I'll show you the right.
Yeah.
I'll make you know it's there.
Right.
I'll make you aware. A lot of times you overextend with your right hand.
Yeah.
And that leaves you vulnerable on this.
Right.
So to throw a jab, you hear, and then to throw a short right hand, you have to throw it from your shoulder, hand back up, and then turn back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while that hand's out, this is open.
Right. Unless you're in there.
Don't forget. Yeah. Unless you had.
Do you do any of the other covers they talk about? Like here, they got the.
Oh, this is Junior Foreman doing this.
Yeah, George Foreman. Yeah, doing that.
No, I'm pretty much. There's a couple of stances. I do a traditional stance, which is one's up.
Right.
But I'll do the Philly style. Sometimes we do the left hand down.
Right.
I'll jab this way. I'll jab up.
You ever go to the gut?
Oh, down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. So one up top, one down here, one here, one down here. Never go down high first, because you can throw your right hand. So go up here. That keeps you from throwing your right hand.
Right.
And then when you're dealing with my hand up here, I'm going down here. And when you're...
My dad used to have all that fame.
Yeah. Well, we call it... There's a lot of fainting that goes on, like the young man that I sparred with today, Miguel Flores, who, by the way, is ranked in the world.
He's ranked in the world. He's a professional.
That's how you're good.
I'm doing. You're very good. Yeah.
So with Miguel likes to go to the body all the time. He's got that typical Mexican...
Oh, he comes in there. He comes like this. Yeah.
Well, but he'll be up here.
And then all of a sudden, then he'll come. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sneak around on you.
If you've seen Canelo fight, Canelo's got the 1, 2, boom.
You got to keep your stomach in.
Well, you gotta be stepping back, and all these pros have great footwork.
Yes. They stay on balance.
First of all, they're unbalanced. You can't punch without being on balance. Second of all, they have great footwork because they move in and out, and they move lateral.
Yep. Or are you going to have another fight coming up?
I do. Fight one in Florida.
In Florida? Traveling?
May 16th. Yeah, all the amateur fights are, if you're at master's level, you have to travel for it. So my most recent fight was in Las Vegas.
Now, how many people fight in your division, in your league? It's a national thing. I think
that's national.
Yeah.
There's a man named Manny Fernandez that runs a couple of returns.
Not from the old Miami Dolphins, isn't it?
No. Well, but Manny is an interesting athlete. He was a breakdancer growing up, and then he played professional basketball in Europe. And then he's also a great artist. He did that picture over there of me.
Oh, that's a picture of you over there?
That's a picture of me over
there. All right, we'll have to get that.
Yeah, I'm up here with all the pros, but I'm an amateur.
I was up there with Lou Savarese. You ever get in there with Lou?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Well, I sparred with Lou.
Yeah. Wow. Is it part of the world? Yeah.
So Miguel's got all this great footwork, and he's got a great lateral move.
Right.
He's aggressive and he's smart. So that's the only way he can work.
Yeah. I can't believe it. Yeah, in there with the professional. I mean, you've been doing this, pretty much all your life. Even when you didn't do it, you probably worked out.
I always had a heavy bag at home.
Yeah.
In the garage. And I go out there and use a heavy bag. And I had a speed bag for a long time. I'm not a weightlifter. I just use body. I do chin-ups, push-ups.
You do chin-ups. Yeah, your arms are big. You got, big arms. That comes from, you pull-ups like this and like that both. Can you do the legs up from the bar too? With your stomach?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How many sit-ups a day do you do?
I don't do as many sit-ups. I probably do maybe a couple hundred a week.
Yeah. road work. What kind of road work you got? Everybody, you got to hit the running.
Just walk.
Really? Yeah. Really? Okay.
If you
No biking? No
yeah, I don't do biking.
bike machine? No.
No, but you get out and you walk. You get a heart rate going. The key to boxing is also to be able to relax.
Yes.
Because when your trapezoids, everybody bunches up and your trapezoids are up here, then you use all your energy. The fuel tank goes like this.
That's just experience. What you say? I mean,
So being able to relax, you take all the pressure off the trapezoids and hold your hands up, and then you go for a long time.
right. Yeah, you either have that or you don't. But it also, to be able to relax in the ring, very important. Yeah, very important.
Well, relaxing is getting rid of that tension. And the way that comes from, confidence. Confidence that you know what you're doing,
Right.
and how to step, you how to move, you can see.
Right.
And you try not to keep our boxing is to be able to hit someone, but not get hit yourself.
How do you feel the next day after your fight?
Feel great.
Yeah, you're not all bruised up.
Okay, so there's 3 or 4 parts to this whole process. Okay, the exercise is just one part. The other side is nutrition.
You probably have great nutrition all day.
It works for me. And how I got onto this nutrition about 25 years ago, one of my sons was having a lot of moody, and I found out that his moods were caused by just constant carbohydrates.
Yeah.
And the metaphor that I use for eating is, if you eat carbs, it's like starting a fire in the fireplace with newspaper. You get a very hot fire initially, but it burns right out real quick. Okay, because the newspaper just goes when the fire's over. If you want a long fire, you use logs. And in our food world, logs are protein. So you have to eat in combination of protein and carbohydrates so that you balance your hypoglycemic index, and you don't have these high highs and low lows that carbohydrates get eat. Or when you eat a combination of carbohydrates and proteins in the right proportion, and give yourself enough fuel for the day, you don't really have a body that builds fat. Your body consumes
Energy. You eat this. I teach kids this all the time.
Okay, so
The athletes don't eat how it tastes. They eat like gasoline, like fuel. You want to eat the right fuel, and then it's going to make you feel good. You're going to have that energy when you need it.
okay, so the right fuel is protein and a mix of carbohydrates.
And a mix of carbohydrates.
Not carbohydrates and a little bit of protein.
Like I had my pasta last night and I had my steak. I did. Yeah.
All right.
And I threw some shrimp in there too.
There's a book that a guy named Dr. Barry Sears wrote it. Yeah, I read it about 25 years ago. It was called The Zones. And his metaphor was, have you ever been in the zone where everything was perfect, you felt great, you had good energy,
The zone. Yep.
but it didn't stay with you for more than a day or two? He said, well, you can have the zone every day if you follow his food plan. So his food plan is basically carbohydrates are green, not white. Results, green bananas, Brussels sprouts,
Asparagus.
broccoli. And over here, it's any protein you want, which is all fennel. So it's any fish, poultry.
I'm going to have to talk to you some more about that too. I like this.
Well,
So are you the cook or is your wife?
we both are.
You both. Okay.
But I follow this disciplined plan. When my son did it, his moods went away.
There you go.
All day long, and wasn't frustrated and upset, and he found out that all this was just driven.
How old was he when you were trying to work this out?
About 17.
Yeah, that's about the time. Yeah. Food. I see a lot of kids and the parents, worked at the top clubs and they got money, and it's a shame they throw pills at the kids and the kids come out there like zombies,
It's just
Feed them right.
Yeah.
Feed them right. How about alcohol? Do you drink some beer? You had some wine, champagne, some wine?
I just do
Wine. Red wine, white wine.
red wine at night.
That's good. A glass or two is probably two, right? That's the two. Yeah, perfect.
This part is this one.
Now you did the oil and gas business for a long time, huh?
I did.
Yeah. And you're retired now.
I did.
It looks like you're ready to go play golf today.
I'd like.
Let's go do it.
I'd love to.
Get anything here.
I went to the Colorado School of Mines, which is mainly a mineral and energy related type school. It was in Golden, Colorado. I graduated from there. I went to work for Texaco, and then from Texaco they exposed me to the oil and gas business. And then I took a job with Conoco, which brought me to Houston. And I've been in Houston ever since. And I left Conoco because I wanted to own oil. And you can't do it when you're in a major company.
Right.
And so there's a large group of independent oil and gas producers in North America. And I was one of those for about 40 years.
Wow. There you go. Well, who's building the pipeline across America? They got it built by now. And you remember Enron? I worked at River Oaks, and Enron,
Oh, yeah, well,
I used to teach Jeff Skilling.
sure.
Yeah. And,
Famous guy.
yeah, famous guy. They go, you know that guy you're working with? He runs $1 billion company, you know? And I said, I don't know. His backhand's no good. I'm trying to help him. I don't care.
Every player at River Oaks
Nice job.
has a story.
Yeah.
We all have students. You have a story, I used to.
Yeah. So golf, you like it, huh?
Yeah, I became the president of the Houston Golf Association. Really? Which put on the Shell Houston Open.
Yeah.
And the organization was the Houston Golf Association, which was formed to raise money for charity. And the vehicle they used was professional golf. So the Houston Golf Association had a contract with the PGA Tour to host the Houston. They were out at the Woodlands.
Okay.
And it was a Coca-Cola Open at that time. Because the part of the process of giving money, you like to have a title sponsor.
Right.
And it turned out for 25 years to be Shelf.
Right.
Great company, great shareable. Never contributed a lot of money to these charities. And the Houston Golf Association was the operating company. I put the term in on. And then we had 4,500 volunteers from the Houston community that would come in and work holes, work concessions, and volunteer their time. So it was the perfect business. You had good revenue coming in, right, and you minimized your expenses. So you had a net income, and then that net income we would distribute. It worked well. 256 charities here.
What was your position with the oil movement? Did you take care of that end of it, or the?
I've been the president of a company for the last 12 years.
Yep.
And that's a whole nother model. Independent oil and gas is, you're not going to build a Cargo or a Chevron, Texaco, and any of these big companies. You can build a small company, and the concept is take a small amount of money, make it bigger,
Right.
and then sell.
Okay.
And that's the concept of that. So I became what I called a build and sell. So, but it was all related to oil and gas. So we take a lease, we drill a number of wells on those leases, improve the revenue so that there's cash flow with net income, and then we'd offer it for sale. That gave us our investment back and gave us some profit, and then we turned right around and reinvested it.
You're reinvesting in something, yeah.
Wow. So I had a team.
You and a couple of other partners.
Oh, well, they were a corporation.
They did their job, you did yours.
Yeah. Okay. I was basically the organizer.
Okay.
So I had geologists, geophysicists, and accountants.
Yeah.
Regulatory affairs specialists, and all the things you need to operate. Because you have to get, in Texas, you have to get licensed, or in any state, you have to become a licensed operator, which means you have to have certain capabilities.
Right.
So we had all those capabilities. So a typical company was 20 to 22 people in the office, and typically 10 to 20 people in the field. So you'd have maybe 40 people.
Wow.
But you can build a lot of asset value because you're drilling wells, and a typical well return is you invest $1 and you want to try to make $2 to $3 back. And all you do is just put zeros on those numbers. And so you invest $1 million, want to get $3 or $4 million, you invest $10 million, want to get 30 and 40, invest $100 million, want to get $3 or 400. And that returns your capital, covers your operating costs, and provides a profit.
How's the oil business? We'll wrap this up here. How's the oil business going to be with the president? What do you think? He going to do something here? Drill, baby, drill?
Okay, so I have to tell you before we do this.
Yeah.
Adjunct. No, I'm an adjunct professor.
Can't be a Democrat. Yeah.
I'm an adjunct instructor at the University of Texas.
Okay.
And what I teach at the University of Texas is still do it. Go to class next month. Back ends. Now I teach the macroeconomics of the upstream oil and gas business. So our business is three streams: the upstream, midstream.
That makes sense.
Upstream is production. Right. So drill and produce. I teach the economics of that. Also, in that process, everything is driven around the price of oil. So the price of oil yesterday was about $63. which is low.
Is it going to go up? You see it coming down?
The only thing which economic supply and demand, those are the primers. So as there's enough supply to meet the demand, the price finds a level spot because it's just buying and sellers. And the buyers are major oil and gas companies, and the sellers were small producers like me. And we sell our oil to them, and then they refine it, making products. So at $63, it's not going to stimulate a lot of drinks.
What's the president talking about? He wants us to produce it and not have to go somewhere else.
Right.
We'll go to
Exactly, but we don't need we produce about 12, the United States.
We already do this.
Well, we produce about 12 million barrels a day.
Yeah.
The world uses 105 million. So that's the big number, 105. The United States uses about 20 million, but it only produces about 12. So to get companies to increase the wells they drill, therefore the amount of production, you have to have a higher price,
Right.
than $63.
Man, I'm getting a good oil. I can give you that business, everything here. Hey, send something. We'll wrap it up with the gym. We're down here at downtown boxing, Houston, Texas. Main Street Boxing. Tell a little bit about the gym, the owner, and what's going on down here.
Well, as you mentioned, we started to get Reese. Lou's here, heavyweight champion.
Definitely.
He trains people here.
Yep. I got some film on me.
Bobby Benton is the owner. Bobby Benton's a longtime trainer. Yep. And he has several professionals, but we have some world champions. Yeah.
Right.
We have
world champions training down here right now.
Oshaki Foster is a world champion at 130 pounds.
Yeah.
We had Regis Burberry here, which is a two-time world champion, and he's at 140.
Right.
And then we have Austin Trout, fought Canelo in San Antonio, and Austin Trout has been world champion at 147. Now he's up to 154. In fact, Austin, he was on that picture right there, is still doing it now.
Over there in town.
The guy who left.
Hey, you're in the picture over here. We'll get that one out.
That's bare knuckles. So yeah, Austin went into bare knuckles and won the championship there.
Yeah.
So now he's the champion at 150. I think that was 160.
Yeah.
In the bare knuckles. So I have a lot of champions.
Bare knuckles.
We had Lou was the champion.
Right. Lou won a lot of fights. Lou did. He did a lot of winning.
50. The only people he lost to was I can recall. He lost to George Foreman.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I think he lost to Holyfield.
And Holyfield. I mean, those are his losses.
Yeah.
He didn't lose he lost the fighters to champions and we're to legends.
He's got over 50. Yeah. But Bobby's a great trainer. He's
yep. Bobby, they got room for more people. Come on down. Yeah.
Yeah, they got definitely no room.
Okay.
Okay. So let me make a pitch for the Masters. If you have any interest in boxing, and you want to learn and get involved properly, this is a really good place to do it because they will teach you everything you need to know, and they'll never let you box unless you're prepared.
Right, and that's a great thing to have professional people around you when you do this because you don't want to get overmatched and you don't want idiots around you getting you hurt.
Exactly. The whole idea is to do it safe.
Yeah, do it safely. This is a professional gym with professional advice and professional trainers. Lou Savarese and Benton.
Bobby Benton.
Sure.
But then, Austin Trout's training, Miguel Flores is training. We mentioned Miguel in here. Yeah. We have a lot of fighters.
Got nice meeting you. My pleasure.
Good to meet you.
John Foster, the Boxing Corner, and Pathway to Glory. Check it out. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been fun. We'll do it again after another fight or something. We'll have to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everybody. Have a great day.